5 more Black gay TV couples. What if some of the most powerful love stories on television were the ones you were never meant to fully see? For decades, Black gay couples have existed on screen, but often in silence, in danger, or in the shadows of violence and taboo. These relationships didn't just challenge Hollywood norms, they exposed who gets to love freely and who pays the price for visibility. In today's video, we're breaking down the Black gay TV couples that changed the conversation and the ones that still make audiences uncomfortable. Watch closely, speak honestly, and join the debate. Drop your thoughts below and subscribe to Legends of Black fame for stories they don't want you discussing. Omar Little and Dante. Omar Little and Dante stand as one of the most revolutionary couples ever depicted on American television, not because their relationship was idealized, but because it was portrayed as real, layered, and inseparable from the brutal world they inhabited. Introduced in The Wire, 2002 to 2008, Omar Little emerged as a feared stick-up man who robbed drug dealers while operating under his own strict moral code. What shocked audiences and critics alike was not Omar's criminal reputation, but the fact that he was openly gay without apology, secrecy, or narrative justification. Dante, his boyfriend, was not written as a disposable side character or a novelty. Instead, he functioned as Omar's emotional anchor. Within the violent ecosystem of Baltimore's drug trade, Dante represented loyalty, domestic intimacy, and quiet courage. Their scenes together, whether sharing a bed, arguing, or preparing for robberies, normalized Black gay love in spaces where masculinity had long been portrayed as exclusively heterosexual and hyper-aggressive. At the time of its release, American television rarely allowed Black gay men to exist outside stereotypes of comedy weakness or tragedy. Omar and Dante disrupted that pattern entirely. Omar carried a shotgun, whistled ominously before entering a scene, and struck fear into entire criminal organizations. Yet none of that contradicted his sexuality. This refusal to soften or explain his identity made the couple groundbreaking. Media scholars have since cited Omar Little as one of the most important LGBTQ+ characters in television history, frequently ranking him among the top TV characters of all time. Their relationship also added narrative stakes. Omar's enemies used his sexuality as leverage, placing bounties on him not only for his crimes, but for his refusal to conform. Dante's involvement in Omar's world eventually placed him in danger, reinforcing a recurring theme of The Wire: no one escapes the system untouched. The implied unraveling of their relationship later in the series underscored the show's commitment to realism rather than romantic fantasy. More than 2 decades later, Omar Little and Dante remain a benchmark. They proved that Black gay couples could be written with complexity, dignity, and narrative weight without reducing queerness to spectacle. Their legacy continues to influence how masculinity, sexuality, and authenticity intersect on television today. Achilles and Patroclus. Achilles and Patroclus represent one of the oldest yet most contested love stories in Western history, and Troy Fall of a City made a deliberate, historically grounded decision to finally portray their bond as explicitly romantic. Drawing directly from ancient Greek literature, most notably Homer's Iliad, the series restored a relationship that centuries of adaptations had softened, denied, or erased. By casting Black actors in these legendary roles, the show added a modern layer to an ancient narrative, expanding both racial and queer representation within classical storytelling. In the series, Achilles is not simply a peerless warrior driven by glory. He is portrayed as emotionally intense, impulsive, and deeply devoted to Patroclus. Their connection is built on shared battles, mutual protection, and intimate trust, rather than spectacle. Patroclus functions as Achilles' moral compass, grounding him when pride and rage threaten to consume him. This dynamic reinforces that their relationship is not incidental. It is central to Achilles' motivations and decisions throughout the war. What distinguishes this portrayal is its seriousness. The show does not frame their love as shocking or controversial within the narrative itself. Among the Greek forces, their bond is understood, acknowledged, and largely accepted, aligning with historical scholarship, suggesting that same-sex relationships between warriors were not taboo in ancient Greece. This contextual accuracy allowed the series to avoid modern moral framing, while still delivering emotional depth. The tragedy of their story is inevitable. When Patroclus is killed, Achilles' grief becomes the emotional turning point of the entire series. His fury is not fueled by wounded pride or battlefield honor alone, but by personal loss. This interpretation aligns closely with the original epic, where Achilles' wrath, following Patroclus' death, marks the most devastating phase of the Trojan War. Although Troy Fall of a City received mixed critical reception, its depiction of Achilles and Patroclus stands as a landmark moment. It placed a black gay love story at the heart of a foundational myth, proving that queerness and heroism have always coexisted even when history tried to forget it. Dr. Oliver Post and Peter Richards. Dr. Oliver Post and Peter Richards represent one of the most grounded and emotionally mature portrayals of a black gay couple ever shown on American network television. In Council of Dads, their relationship is not framed around danger, secrecy, or scandal, but around responsibility, partnership, and everyday family life, an approach that quietly made their presence revolutionary. At a time when black gay men were still largely depicted through extremes, this couple offered something far rarer: stability. Dr. Oliver Post is a respected physician, deeply committed to both his profession and his family. Peter Richards, his husband, is portrayed as equally devoted, sharing parenting duties and emotional labor with calm confidence. Together, they are raising their daughter Tess, while also stepping in to help care for the children of a close friend dying of cancer. This extension of care, beyond their own household, reinforces one of the show's core themes: that family is defined by action, not biology. What makes Oliver and Peter especially significant is how little the series feels the need to explain their sexuality. Their marriage is treated as a fact, not a debate. Conflicts arise from grief, parenting, stress, and community obligations, rather than from homophobia-driven trauma. This narrative choice aligns with real demographic shifts. According to US Census data, same-sex married households raising children have steadily increased over the past decade, yet remain vastly underrepresented on television. The couple's presence also had impact beyond the screen. Actor J. August Richards, who portrayed Dr. Post publicly, came out as gay during the show's run, citing the role as a catalyst for living more openly. This real-world outcome reinforced the importance of representation that does not rely on suffering to justify visibility. Although Council of Dads was short-lived, Oliver Post and Peter Richards left a lasting impression. They demonstrated that black gay couples can be depicted as competent parents, reliable partners, and moral centers of a story. Their narrative did not chase shock value. Instead, it normalized love, responsibility, and commitment, quietly expanding what audiences understand as possible. Uncle Clifford and Lil Murder. Uncle Clifford and Lil Murder deliver one of the boldest, most culturally disruptive black queer love stories in recent television history. Set against the backdrop of a Mississippi strip club in P Valley, their relationship exists in a world shaped by poverty, violence, faith, and deeply rooted homophobia. Unlike sanitized portrayals of romance, this story is raw, sensual, and constantly negotiating danger. Uncle Clifford, the non-binary owner of the Pink, commands respect through charisma, authority, and unapologetic self-expression. In contrast, Lil Murder is a rising rapper, entangled in street politics, survival instincts, and public masculinity. Their attraction is immediate, but the stakes are severe. For Lil Murder, being openly queer could mean career destruction, or worse, death. For Uncle Clifford, loving someone who refuses visibility becomes an emotional risk. What sets this couple apart is the show's refusal to dilute complexity. Lil Murder's struggle with internalized fear leads him to pursue intimacy in secrecy, including encounters that further complicate trust. Uncle Clifford, while powerful, is forced to confront the limits of patience when love demands invisibility. Their dynamic mirrors real-life experiences faced by many gender-non-conforming people who date partners unwilling or unable to live openly. P Valley did not shy away from explicit intimacy, and its portrayal of desire between masculine black men sparked intense online discourse. These scenes were not included for provocation alone. They challenged long-standing taboos around black male sexuality and disrupted narrow definitions of masculinity. The series became one of Starz's highest-rated shows, proving that audiences would engage with unapologetic queer storytelling. Ultimately, Uncle Clifford and Lil Murder are not written as symbols or cautionary tales. They are individuals navigating love under pressure, asking whether affection can survive without freedom. Their story underscores a painful truth. Visibility is not just about courage, it is about safety. And sometimes choosing oneself means walking away from someone you love. Black gay love stories on television have come a long way, but the real question is, have they truly been allowed to evolve, or are they still confined by danger, secrecy, and tragedy? From crime dramas to family series, these couples reflect progress, yet they also expose uncomfortable limits in how far representation is permitted to go. Should black gay relationships always have to suffer to feel real on screen? Or is it time for stories where love doesn't come with a body count? Tell us what you think. Do these portrayals move the culture forward or reinforce old patterns in new packaging? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to Legends of Black Fame for more unapologetic conversations.